Next, we're going to talk about preparing our horse to be ridden. We're going to prepare him to be saddled first. We're going to get him very comfortable with the saddling process and the preparation for that. So the first thing we've got to do is get this horse to where he's very comfortable with just things around him and commotion and different movements and so on. So, you know, I use this stick right here. It's like a little, I don't know, 3.5, 4 foot long stick, and then I've got a little piece of cloth on the end that doesn't absorb moisture, so if it gets wet it doesn't get too heavy. I like that. And what I do is I take this and I follow this horse's profile all the way around him to where he's really good about things around him, okay? Where I don't want him afraid of this flag. And I'm going to touch him everywhere on his body. I don't want to touch him anywhere that he flinches or he shows any anxiousness toward this flag, okay? So, like right here, let me move him over here. What I don't want to have happen is I don't want to touch him here and here and here, and I don't want him flinching, okay? So if I touch him somewhere and he's flinching, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flag that and I'm going to retreat from it. I'm going to touch him right in here because we all know that's a sensitive spot. Can you see that okay, Brandon? I'm going to follow his profile all the way around, just like this. Around his ears, down over his face, and around. We'll come around. This is the least impact thing I've got right now, so I'm going to start out slow like this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to come underneath like this. Folks who don't ride around the back girth, they're looking for trouble. If I touch this horse here and he twitches, don't get on him. He's not ready, okay? So then the next thing I'm going to work on is I'm going to come over here, and the best tool there is just a feed sack, okay? You get that feed sack. The old timers used to call this, am I too close, Brandon? Come on, Petey. Sacking one out, okay? Well, that's what we're working on here. Well, if I can't do this, I can't put a saddle on him, okay? So I'm going to come like this with my feed sack. Come underneath. Now, Petey makes this look easy, but it always doesn't work this way. You know, you got to work your way up. You got to work your way to earn that trust like this. And I don't want to touch him anywhere that he twitches. I don't want him to have any fear as is associated with this. This might take an hour and it might take a week, folks. But you got to get this worked out, okay? We got to get this worked out. You know, I want to be able to come like this. I come like this. Come like this. Take it. Then I take it on the ground like this. I'm going to come around. I'm going to move that bag around. I'm not going to go work on obstacles outside until I get this worked out. I'm not going to work about walking over tarps until I get this worked out. Okay? So just take your bag and be creative with it. Okay? Now, the next thing we'll work on is I'm going to take this stick and I'm going to ask him for lateral movement. Okay? See how he'll move away? Like this. See there? Well, I'm preparing him for a leg yield. Okay? Nine times out of 10, when we start this procedure, that horse, if I take this end of my stick, he's going to push toward me. He's going to be dull-sighted because he's just been ridden by passengers. Didn't use their legs, you see. Well, we're going to ride like horsemen. And when we touch him, we want him to move over like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold pressure there. And we're going to hold that pressure. And then when he moves away, we give release. Okay? Release. And now you watch, everywhere I put this stick, I'm going to move his shoulder. I'm going to move his hip. In between, I'm going to move all four. Just like that. Okay? Then I'm going to move his shoulder. Move his shoulder. Okay? And I'm kind of showing you on a horse that is pretty good at it, where you get in here with an old, stiff, tough green horse, he's not going to do that. You know, I can't move him over like this. So the first lateral I'm going to ask him for is when he's moving, okay? So that's easier for him. See? See? So now when I get on his back and I turn my toe out and I ask him to move over, well, he's already moving over. He's already got it figured out. You know, some of these guys that are claiming to be trainers, they're getting up there and pounding on them with a spur to do all that. Well, no. Those spurs are there to reinforce your leg. And they're there to provide pressure like this stick is right here. Move over. Well, I'm going to ask him with my leg first, then my spur. And we're going to go over that in a future video. But what I wanted to show you is we're not going to do leg yields until we get this accomplished first. Okay? So in this whole preparation process, little things like this mean a lot in the future. Okay? So if he will not yield to this pressure on his side with my stick, he's not going to do it from my leg. Okay, so it's really not about what kind of stick you got and where you bought it and how long it is or anything. You can go out and cut you a stick in the woods or get you a broom handle. Anything works, okay? So this 12.5-foot rope and this halter and this stick are my main tools that I use, okay? And I've had both of them a long time. And but this is all in preparation to ride him. And I can't overemphasize the importance of, you know, all this groundwork business and round pin business, and you got all these CDs you buy and things that, you know, go over all this. And I'm frustrated at times because folks don't correlate why they're doing it. That we're doing all this stuff to eventually ride. And this isn't a game out here. We're not playing, you know, play games on the ground with our horse. No, this is all business. He's to do what I ask him to do when I tell him to do it. I'm his leader. And if he won't do it with this stick and this rope in my hand, he's sure as the dickens isn't going to do it when you get on his back. And that's my advice to everybody. You know, get this all worked out. Do your homework before you climb up there. If you're not careful, you get up there too soon, and I can be the first one to attest to that. If you do that, sometimes it doesn't work out to your advantage. So, okay, with that, we'll move on to our next video, and we're going to talk about how to start your horse to lunge.